All right, hopefully we got this thing going on here, but welcome to this little video I'm going to do for hockey. This is my little outlook on the Western Conference for the NHL season. Except that, I don't care. We're going to go by the Western Conference today. Next time we do this, we're going to go by the East. We're going to start with the West, and we're going to start with the Central Division, the Arizona Coyotes. Arizona is playing in an interesting conference this year. I guess I'll go over what I think their roster is going to be like. So right now, the roster of the Arizona Coyotes, guys like Nick Butstad, Travis Boyd, Logan Cooley is supposed to play this year, Dylan Gunther, Lawson Krause, Baron Hayden, Clayton Keller, Alex Kerfoot, Matthias Michelli, Jake McBean, Liam O'Brien, Nick Schmaltz, Jason Zucker, some of your forwards, centers, and wingers. Uh, People I think that are pretty good on this team. Logan Cooley is a guy that got my eye on this season. He was third overall pick in the 2022 draft, if I remember correctly. He went third. And that's pretty big because Logan Cooley was an amazing talent coming out of. I want to look at Logan Cooley right here. Cooley was in my opinion, 2022, one of the best prospects in all of hockey right now. Look at some of his stats. University of Michigan played 39 games, scored 22 goals, 38 assists, 60 points, and was a plus 38. Then in the World Juniors this year, he played 7 games. He put up 7 goals, 7 assists for 14 points. Cooley, amazing player. Can't wait to watch him play for the Coyotes. Other people I have my eyes on, Dylan Gunther, went 11th overall in 2021. WHL champion and an amazing power play guy and goal scorer. Baron Hayden can have his breakout year this year. Clayton Keller, their top point getter last season. I just see him getting a good year this year. Matthias Michelli is another guy I got my eyes on, and former Pittsburgh Penguin Jason Zucker. Some defense: Josh Brown, Travis Dermott, Matt Dumba, Shane Jersey, J.J. Moser, Troy Stetcher, and Yusel Valimaki. Probably of all these guys, Shane Jersey is the guy I'm thinking about the most on this team. He got traded here from the Los Angeles Kings to Arizona. I'm very surprised the Kings traded him because Shane Jersey is a good defenseman when it comes to defense, even though doesn't look like that great last year, but I can definitely see him bouncing back this season for them. Shot blocker probably and hitting guy Matt Dumba, former member of the Minnesota Wild, came over here. And goaltenders Connor Ingram and Krill Velmoka. Velmoka and Ingram they're an okay tandem, mainly carried by Connor Velmoka. Velmoka he came in not too long ago. He was a top goaltending prospect for them, then came in and took over for the net starting job. So this is what he kind of looked like last season. Great mask, by the way. Last year, he played 50 games, won 18 of them, lost 24, and had a 900 save percentage. That's fine. You play for Arizona, you're going to get scored on a lot. But he's a good goaltender. I like Connor Vimoka's game. Interesting to see what he's going to do this season for Arizona. A former 5th-round pick, which I'm very surprised about. But he has been voicing his concerns about Arizona itself. So very interesting to see what's going to happen with the Arizona Coyotes. Going to look over some of their schedule. Before we head over to the next team, not September because that's preseason. Their first game of the regular season will be a away game. They're going to play in New Jersey to start the season. At The Rock. They're going to start the season off with a road trip. They're going to start off with the New Jersey Devils, the New York Islanders, the New York Rangers, and the New York Islanders. So a little New Jersey, New York road trip there. They head over to St. Louis, and then their first home game of this regular season is against the Anaheim Ducks. In a couple games, it's the Kings, one in LA and one at home. They end out on October against the Chicago Blackhawks. Interesting schedule because they have a little bit of a tougher road trip to start the year off, playing New Jersey and two New York teams. They get a little bit of an easier two games after that, St. Louis and Anaheim. Play the Canes 2 games in a row. That's not helpful. And then they play the Blackhawks to finish out that October schedule. I don't know about Arizona. I feel like they're going to finish last in the division. It's a tough call in that division. But yeah, I definitely see the Coyotes getting better this season, especially with help some of their prospects coming up like Logan Cooley. And who knows what injuries may happen to the squad, but it should be interesting. Here's their rookie face-off roster here, some of their guys. Oh, Connor Geeky's another guy that could potentially start this season. Who knows? We'll find that out. But and Matthias Rousseau, but I don't think they're going to put Matthias Rousseau back in Halifax. But that's Arizona for you guys a little bit. A team that's not in a great spot. They even play in a college arena. That's how bad their franchise is right now, and they could potentially get moved to a different state at some point. But that's it for Arizona. Out of this conference, I don't think they're going to finish last. I think they're going to finish second to last this year. Either second to last or they'll be like fifth. Because there's, let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8 teams. I think they can finish sixth in the division or fifth. You never know. Okay, after the Arizona Coyotes is the team that I think is going to finish last place in this division, but has an amazing person on this team, and that's the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago's a team that won 3 cups in the 2010s, but have fallen off since, including an embarrassing sweep in 2017 in the first round by the Nashville Predators. They've only won 1 playoff series since winning the cup in 2015, which was back in 2020 in the bubble. This is a team that roster on paper does not look that great. Joey Anderson, Andres, so happy to see you. Colin Blackwell, Colton Dock, Jason Dickinson, Ryan Donato, Mason and Wassell, Nick Foligno, Dylan Gust, Cole Guttman, Taylor Hall, Mike Hardman, Gavin Hayes, Tyler Johnson, Reese Johnson, Boris Kauchuk, Philip Kurashev, Corey Perry, Taylor Radish, Lucas Reichel, Samuel Savo. And that's really about all the guys I want to talk about. But this is a roster that's not that great looking on paper, but there are a few guys I want to talk about. Connor Bedard, first overall pick in the draft. Connor Bedard, huge praise coming out of the WHL. Last season with the Regina St. Pat's, put up 143 points. In the World Juniors, he put up 23 points. A generational player, a player that has the most hype since Connor McDavid. I mean, look at all these notes and attributes this man has won. And we'll see how he does in Chicago, but it's going to be a tough year for him, I think, in Chicago. Especially when your roster doesn't look that great. Another guy I want to highlight. I mean, here's Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall, former #1 pick from the Oilers, now with them. Another guy I'm going to highlight, Lucas Reichel, the German born player. Last year played 23 games, 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points. Reichel, who knows what's going to happen with Lucas Reichel. I think this season we're going to see him step up because he's going to play some more ice time this year. And then one more guy I want to talk about is Taylor Radish. Ever since getting traded over here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, I liked Radish's game. Last year, put up his first 20-goal campaign of his career. He's only 25. 20 goals, 17 points, 17 assists, 37 points. And I could see Taylor Radish putting up 30 this season for the Chicago Blackhawks. I can definitely see that, especially that he's probably going to play alongside of Connor Bedard. As you see here, he was traded by Tampa with Boris Kowchuk and 2 first-round picks for Brandon Hagel. And then that's really all about what type of forwards wise. Is all of theirs are like low guys. Most of these guys in the Chicago Blackhawks team are guys that would probably be in the bottom 6 for other teams. Like guys like Andreas, who happy to see you. He had a good year actually with Chicago, if I remember correctly. What did he have last year? 20 goals, 20 assists. Yeah, that's not bad for Andreas. So happy to see you. This is that's one of his top point seasons of his career. That's really about it for Chicago. But they do have a gritty group. This is a group that's going to fight a lot. It's like a lot of veterans and young players. Defense, Nolan Allen, Ethan Maestro, Seth Jarvis, their top guy, Wyatt Kessler, Kevin Yorchinski, Connor Murphy, Philip Roos, Nikita Zaitsev. I've talked about some of these guys, and Isaac Phillips. Seth Jones, their top defenseman and most paid, the guy that's making the most money this season for the Blackhawks. 72 games last year, 12 goals, 25 assists, 37 points. Signed a big contract in this season right here for Chicago. He was an all-star last year for the Blackhawks. Should be very interesting. So he was traded here for Boquist, 3 draft picks. Then he signed an 8-year deal with them. And I just don't know what to think about Seth Jarvis with this team, but Seth Jarvis is not a bad defenseman. As from Seth Jarvis, we're going to go on to probably the guy that's most impactful defenseman on this team, Kevin Korchinski, former 7th overall pick in 2022 draft from the Seattle Thunderbirds. Put up 73 points in his last season with the Seattle Thunderbirds. Put up 4 points when he played in the World Juniors. Kevin Korchinski, I definitely see him playing a lot of time with Chicago Blackhawks this season. Probably going to be on their top defensive pairing with Seth Jones. If not, he's playing on the second pairing due to how terribly the Chicago Blackhawks defense is looking like. Connor Murphy's another guy to talk about here. Murphy's a hard-hitting type of defenseman. He likes to hit a lot of people. Like I said, he's a big hitting guy when it comes to defensemen. Former Coyote, now Blackhawk. And he'll keep going through it. Yeah, he hits a lot of guys. He usually averages 100 hits a season when it comes to defense. And then just one more defense I think I might want to talk. No, you know what? No, I'm just going to go through those defensemen right now. Zaitsev, former Ottawa Senator. Interesting to see these in Chicago now. But we'll talk about goaltenders. Peter Mrazek, Arvin Soderblom, and Jackson Stillbar. They're probably going to start Mrazek and Soderblom. Start the season for Chicago. Mrazek, 39 games last year, 10 wins, 22 losses, and 894 save percentage. Yeah, he was the goalie that beat the Penguins that one day when it helped the Florida Panthers make the playoffs last season. I mean, he had games last year for Chicago where he played pretty well, and then of course, there's games where he played bad, so should be an interesting season for Mrazek. I want to say Drew Comsrow and Jackson Stillbear are going to play in the AHL to begin. And then Arvin Soderblom is going to probably be the backup this season for Chicago, too. 15 games played, 2 wins, 10 losses, an 894 save percentage. An undrafted rookie. Well, not really undrafted, but kind of is. But he's going to be probably most likely the backup for this season for Chicago. But you never know. He may play more games this season than Peter Mrazek. But currently, right now, that is Chicago. Chicago Blackhawks are a team that I definitely see finishing last place their division. We're just going to talk about some of their schedule being the season. Skip September because that's all preseason. First game of the year for them, they start with a big road trip to start the year. That's not looking good for them. Their first two games, they play two tough teams. They start the season off, and the opening day of the NHL season, they play the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. And then they go to Boston the following day to play the Bruins. After that couple-day rest, which is good for them, then they head over to Montreal to play the Canadiens at the Bell Center. Then they have a day rest, and they head over to Toronto to play the Maple Leafs. A couple days off again. They play the Colorado Avalanche. Then they play their first home game against the Vegas Golden Knights. Couple days off and play Boston at home. And then a couple days off, play Vegas in Vegas. And to end October, they play the Arizona Coyotes. This is not a good start to the schedule for Chicago. They play two tough teams to start. Play a team that's rebuilding, but still, can still get the job done in Montreal. Play two, or should I say not two, but then their next 5 games are against all playoff contenders in Arizona. So that's not good for Chicago. I feel bad if they had to play those teams first, but Chicago's a team I don't really see doing well this year. Even though they have some guys that do well, like Connor Bedard, Lucas Reichel, Taylor Radish, I just don't see them doing very much this year. That is the Chicago Blackhawks going to Colorado. Now, this is a team that I definitely can see winning this division. Great looking team. They signed Thomas Tatar yesterday for a 1-year deal. We look at their roster and talk about what they're doing. Some of their guys on this team: Andrew Cogliano, Ross Colton, Jonathan Drouin, Ryan Johansson, Arturi Lehtinen, Nathan McKinnon, Valen Nichushkin, Logan O'Connor. You got Mikko Rantanen, Chris Wagner, Miles Wood. Some of their notable names on this team. Don't start with in my opinion, their best player on the team, Nathan McKinnon. Last year, great regular season for Nathan. 71 games played, though, but he had 111 points. And this was their year removed from winning the Stanley Cup. As you see, Nathan McKinnon won the Cup in last season. McKinnon's an amazing player, played for Halifax. I watched him win the Memorial Cup. And he won the Stanley Cup in 2022. McKinnon's definitely the backbone of this team. Amazing scorer. Another couple of guys talked about on this team. Ross Colton did sign a big 4-year deal with them from Tampa Bay. Jonathan Drouin signed a 1-year deal here. Drouin's a former teammate of Nathan McKinnon with the Halifax Mooseheads. Johansson was traded here. Arturi Lehtinen they got a couple seasons ago when they won the Cup. And then Mikko Rantanen's the other guy to talk about on this team, who's an insanely good player. Most deflected goals last season in the league. He played 70. He played all 82 games last year and 105 points and put up 55 goals, his career high in goals. Amazing player Mikko Rantanen is. Him and McKinnon are deadly together on a line. Some defensemen to talk about on this team: Bowen Byram, Samuel Jar, Jack Johnson, Curtis McDarren, Cale Makar, Josh Manson, Devon Taves. Talk about Cale Makar here. Makar, one of, if not the best defensemen in the league. Puts up an insane amount of points, plays great defense. He had put up 66 points last year and only playing 60 games. That's pretty damn good. Of course, won the Cup with them. Rookie of the Year winner, Conn Smythe Trophy winner for playoff MVP last year, and a Norris Trophy as best defenseman in the league. That same year, won the Stanley Cup. What an amazing player Cam Makar is, and the sky's the limit for him. Only 24. Usually plays with Devon Taves, so the good defensive pairing. Bowen Byram's a pretty good player to talk about. I like talking about Bowen Byram. Big dude. Big guy. He's picked number 4 overall in 2019 for a reason. He always drives with impact, good shot blocker, won Stanley Cup, played fantastic in the WHL. We'll talk about goaltending here for Colorado. Pavel Francouz and Alexander Georgiev. Georgiev was his first, season as a starter in the NHL. He usually was the backup for the New York Rangers. You see here his big time with the Rangers. He played 62 games last year, won 40 and lost 60. What a good year it was for Alexander Georgiev. Of course, he has to get traded to Colorado the year after they won the Stanley Cup. But he still had a fine season last year with a 914. No, not the 914 save percentage. What do you have? Oh, a 919 save percentage. Still pretty good for Pavel Francouz, and then their backup for Alexander Georgiev. Their backups Pavel Francouz. If it wants to load. So Pavel Francouz, only 33, undrafted dude. Played 16 games last season. He was a little hurt last year. Won 8, lost 7, and 1 overtime loss. Put up a 915 save percentage. Won the cup with them back in last season. I like the game of Pavel Francouz, but I prefer Georgiev. Colorado, they already have lost their captain for the season thanks to an injury, and Colorado with them, it's all about injuries. They're a team that loves to deal with injuries throughout the season, but they always find ways to stay on top of the division. This is a team that I think could win the division this year. Do I think they're going to win the division this year? No. I'm going to say second or third for third place. Second or third place this year and a playoff berth for the Colorado Avalanche. All right, this is the team I think will win the division this season, the Dallas Stars. Dallas had a hell of a season last year, went all the way to the conference finals in the playoffs, only losing to the Vegas Golden Knights in 6 games, who won the Stanley Cup. Players here to talk about: Jamie Benn, Evgeny Datinov, Ty Dangia, Matt Duchene, Radek Fatsa. Rope hits: Wyatt Johnson, Mason Marchment, Joe Pavelski, Jason Robertson, Tyler Seguin, Craig Smith, Logan Stankoven, and Sam Steele. A couple of guys I'm going to click on and talk about here. Jamie Benn's the captain, by the way. Start with Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene, steal of the offseason this year. He's had a good career. Duchene had actually a fine season last year with the Nashville Predators. 71 games played at 56 points. Next thing you know, what does the guy get in the offseason with the Dallas Stars? 1 year, $3 million. That's a steal for Matt Duchene's talent. And so Dallas will definitely upgrade with their offense because of Matt Duchene. Rope hits, another guy to talk about with the Dallas Stars. Hell of a season last year. A great playoff run. Played 19 games in the playoffs. He puts up 24 points. That's disgusting. Last season with Dallas, 73 games played, 75 points. Amazing year for Rope hits. And there's a big reason why the Dallas Stars signed him for 8 years, $76 million. And just one more I want to touch on. Wyatt Johnson has been pretty good for Dallas. Had a good playoff run last year for them. Last guy I talked about for Fort Core one talk is Jason Robertson. He had 18 points last year in the playoffs, but a player that's definitely come on age. Last season put up 79 points. This season put up 109 in 82 games and 46 goals. I mean, that's why Dallas signed him with the since he was restricted free agent in 2022. Big reason why they signed him. Amazing talent, fast, can shoot. And now, look at him now. He had a hell of a playoff, hell of a year. Do more. Logan Stankoven's a guy that could definitely make the roster this year for Dallas. Defenseman to talk about: Yuri Hakupa, Joel Hardy, Thomas Hardy, Miko Hastinen, Christian Carew, Elsa Lindell, Lyles Lundqvist, Ryan Suter. Really, the only defenseman that's worth talking about of all of these is Miko Hastinen. Hastinen, he's good. I like the Hastinen's game. He's a good defenseman. He put up points too last season. He put up 73 points in 79 games. It's pretty good for a defenseman. And in 2020, when they went to the finals, he had a great season. Signed an 8-year deal with Dallas in 2021. And then I'm going to talk about the big point of why Dallas will probably win the division. Other than their depth, they got good depth, but a pretty good reason of why they could win this division again. Goaltending, Jake Ottinger and Scott Wedgwood. Ottinger last season, man, he had a good year. Same with the playoffs. He had a good playoff run too. But 62 games played last year, 37 wins, 11 losses, and a .919 save percentage for Jake Ottinger. He was an unrestricted free agent in 2022, and he signed for 3 years, 12 mil. So damn good as a goaltender. And how old is he? Only 24. This kid, ever since he started playing in the league, is just taking over for Dallas. It's disgusting. I think his first 4 years of starting, he won 30 games. Now he won 37 from last year. I love his swagger, too. He's a good player. Very good goalie. Won the best in the league. Then you got his backup, Scott Wedgwood. One of the better backups in the league. Nice match, too. Last season with Dallas, 21 games played, won 9, lost 8. In a .915 save percentage. Still a good year for Scott Wedgwood, their backup. He's definitely always a guy you can back up with. And some teams would be the test there at the starter. So there's the Dallas Stars. We'll talk about their schedule to start the season. I think I'm just going to do the division by division for these. So we'll start with the Central, go each by through. First game of the regular season for the Dallas Stars is a home game, American Airlines Center against the St. Louis Blues. They have a big couple days off. Then they play 2 road games, one against Vegas and one against Anaheim. Then they go over to play a home game against the Philadelphia Flyers. They head to Pittsburgh after that to play the Penguins, have a day off, go back home to Dallas to face the Leafs, and to end off the month, they play the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's actually a fine, start to the season. You got a couple of harder games with Vegas, Pittsburgh, and Toronto, but those are teams they can definitely all hang with and beat. And you have some easier games like St. Louis, Anaheim, Philly, and Columbus. But that's the Dallas Stars, the team that I think will win the division this season thanks to their depth and goaltending. Minnesota is after that. The Wild. Interesting. Going into an interesting team, a little interesting season this year. People talk about on the forward core. Matt Boldy, Joel Eriksson-Ek, Marcus Foligno, Frederick Gaudreau, Ryan Hartman, Marcus Johansson, Kirill Kaprizov, Patrick Maroon, or Pat Maroon, really, Marco Rossi, and Matt Zuccarello. A couple guys don't talk about. Matthew Boldy's definitely going to be a guy that's going to break out this year. I definitely see that. Joel Eriksson-Ek, good two-way player. Kirill Kaprizov, their superstar on the team. Really like watching him play. Last year, ever since he came on the league, he's exploded last season. He only played 67 games, 75 points, but last year he put up 108 points. And he was Rookie of the Year winner in his rookie season. But ever since he stepped on the ice in his rookie season, he's made an impact for Minnesota and has changed the way they play hockey. Ever since he stepped onto the ice, Minnesota's never missed the playoffs. And then there's Marco Rossi. big top prospect for them. Hopefully he makes the roster, start the year off for Minnesota. I cannot wait to see this kid blossom into a big star because he was amazing for the Ottawa 67s. Defensemen, guys like Yotis Brodin, Brock Faber, Alex Dorogovsky, John Merrill, Jake Middleton, David Spacek, and Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon and Brodin are the two big guys on this defensive core, very defensive players. And then your goaltenders, Marc-Andre Fleury and Philip Gustafsson. Two pretty solid goaltenders, both pretty damn good, and guys are both starters for certain teams. Fleury last year, 46 games played, 24 wins, 16 losses, and a 908 save percentage. Not bad, but not certainly his worst season. And his backup, Philip Gustafsson, who feels more like a starter than anything. Philip Gustafsson had a great playoffs, even though he didn't really, they didn't win their first round series in Dallas. He played a freaking great playoffs for them. He's only 25, which is disgusting. He was traded here by Ottawa. Last season, 39 games played, 22 wins, 11 and 9 losses. By the way, the OT or overtime losses. And a 931 save percentage. He's really blossomed to a star for Minnesota in his first full year. And then you have their third stringer, Jasper Wallstedt. Wallstedt is a damn good goaltending prospect. Only 20 years old. He's been lighting it up in the AHL. And first goaltender born in Sweden selected in the first round. Pick number 20 that year in 2021. There's a reason why he was picked that high. Wallstedt is an amazing goaltending prospect, and this year he could potentially, play for the Minnesota Wild if someone gets hurt. You never know. Some of the schedule here for Minnesota to start the season off. The first game of the year is at home against the Florida Panthers. They head to Toronto to play the Maple Leafs. Head to Montreal to play the Canadiens. A 3-game homestand against LA, Columbus, and the Edmonton Oilers. Then the 3-game road trip to end the month off with the Flyers, the Capitals, and the Devils. Not bad at all for start the year, but there's some hard games in there. But that's the Minnesota Wild. Not bad for Minnesota, but a team that I'd see get third or something like that in the division. Here's probably, in my opinion, the most unpredictable team in the division, the Nashville Predators. One of my favorite teams in the league. And like I said, it's pretty hard to talk about to predict what's going to happen with these guys. Guys to talk about here, Luke Evan Angel Stella. Estella? Yeah, Evan Angel Esta. Philip Forsberg, Cody Glass, Dennis Durianov, Mark Jankowski. I'm not going to talk about Zach Earl. Thomas Novak, Gustav Nyquist, Ryan O'Reilly, Yusa Parsonen, Kev Sherwood, Colton Sissons, and Philip Tomasino and Yakov Tretton. Oh, and Jasper Weatherby. The big guy on this one's Phil Forsberg. Definitely a guy that's always been scoring a lot of goals and all that for them. And then their top guy that definitely can see having a breakout year this year in his first season, Luke Evan Angstella. Last year, played only 24 games in Nashville, though. He put up 15 damn points. It's pretty good. Interesting year it will be for him in Nashville. Then we get to the part, though, definitely will help Nashville out. Their offense kind of filters. Oh, and Ryan O'Reilly is also worth talking about. He's pretty damn good. Their defense, though, is nice. I like their defense core. Tyson Berry, Alexander Carrier, Dante Fabio, Roman Yossi, Jeremy Lauzon, Ryan McDonough, Luke Shen, and maybe Tanner Molenendijk. But their top guy to talk about here is Roman Yossi. Yossi's pretty damn good. Last season, 76 games played, put up 59 points. A year removed from his 96-point campaign. Jesus, they won the Norris in 2020. Their captain. But they have a good defensive core. I like Barry, like Fabio, like Jeremy Lazone on this Nashville team, and I believe that they have Tanner Molduke in this team help them out to even better and better. He might play the season for them. It's going to be fun to watch him play with this team. I don't think he will start, though, the year off. He could potentially get back into there. Who knows? Goaltending core, though, they got a great duo. UC Saros, great goaltender. Great goaltender for Nashville. 64 games played last year. 33 wins, 23 losses, and a 919 save percentage. I still don't know how they got him that low in the draft that year. He was drafted. He's 28. He's a great goaltender, one of the best in the league. Then you head over to his backup, who was a good backup, in Kevin Lankinen. Lankinen, 19 games played, 9 wins, 8 losses, 916 save percentage. And how old is he? 28. Two good, nice goaltenders in those two. Then you got their goaltending prospect, who's considered an amazing prospect, and your star and a star off, Urosov Starov, the only 21 out of Russia, picked 11th in 2020. I mean, this kid was considered as Carey Price. This is a kid that's considered as good as Carey Price was. They call him the Russian Carey Price for a reason. Urosov Starov. So that's Nashville. And a little bit of their team. Let's talk their beginning schedule. Nashville's scheduled to begin the year off. They play the first game of the season of the opening day in Tampa Bay against the Lightning. And they have a home game against Seattle. They head off to Boston to face the Bruins. They have a home game after some days off against the Oilers. They go out to the Madison Square Garden to play the Rangers. Have a 3-game homestand against the San Jose Sharks, the Vancouver Canucks, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And to end off October on Halloween, they play the Vancouver Canucks. A little bit of a tougher schedule at the end of the year, but they still have some games they definitely can win, like against the San Jose Sharks and the Vancouver Canucks, and they could steal some with their goaltending. See, Nashville, I don't know how to rank Nashville. They have a team that can win the division. They have a team that can definitely make the playoffs, but they also have a team that can disappoint. All right, last two here to end off this little video. The St. Louis Blues. A team that's changed so much ever since they won the Stanley Cup back in 2019. Guys, talk about on this team. Nikita Alexandrov, Sammy Blaze, Zachary Boldu, Pavel Busnevich. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't say his name. Adam Gagne. Delivor Dvorsky is an interesting one. I might talk about him a little bit later. Kevin Hayes, Kasperi Kapanen, Jordan Kyrou, Jake Neighbors, Brandon Saad, Brandon Schneider, Oster Sundquist, Robert Thomas, Jacob Vrana, Nathan Walker. I'm not even trying to pronounce Alexei. I'm not going to try to pronounce that guy's name, but and Jordan Kyrou, of course. I'm just going to touch on Delvor Dvorsky, their top pick in the draft last year. Dvorsky could play. He could play this year in St. Louis. Of everyone in the draft, I think, other than Bedard and Luke and Carlson, he's the most NHL ready guy for forwards. And Leo Carlson, not Lou Carlson, Leo Carlson. Busnevich, amazing guy. Same with Blaze and Robert Thomas. I don't know if Robert Thomas is on this list, but he should be. Kapanen, very fast type of guy. Kyrou, talk about Kyrou here. In my opinion, here's their best player. Kyrou coming off of a 73-point season with 37 goals. There's a reason why he signed 8 years for $65 million in St. Louis. He's such a good player when it comes to shooting the puck. Oh, there's Robert Thomas. If it's not Kyrou, it's Robert Thomas. That's their best player. Well, 65 points last year, only 73 games played. Still pretty damn good. Of course, he won the cup at 2018 with them. Defensive guys top route: Bertuzzo, Justin Falk, Torrey Crude, Nick Leddy. Torrey Crude's out with a foot injury right now, so I don't know if he's going to play for the St. Louis Blues to start the year. Colton Parayko is their best defenseman. Marco Stindala. Goaltending. There are two goaltending guys I think will be Jordan Bennington, who's fallen off a cliff since winning the cup in 2019. 16 wins last year, 10 losses, 914 save percentage. And he played 61 games last year. Oh, sorry, no, wrong one. Sorry, wrong. Last year, 61 games played, 27 wins, 27 losses, and 994 and an 894 save percentage, which is not good. That is not good. That is bad. And his backup's mainly going to be Joel Hofer. Joel Hofer only played 6 games last year, but he won 3. He only lost 1. He had 905 save percentage. Joel Hofer, he could potentially even get the start this year for the St. Louis Blues. That's how good he is for a guy. And another guy that could potentially maybe get called up maybe the year if Bennington plays bad again. Colton Ellis. Colton Ellis is good. I like Colton Ellis, former member of the Rusty Oceanic. Never know, he could potentially play this year for St. Louis. If it's going to be Malcolm Subban. But that's the St. Louis team, a team that's I don't think they're going to do much this season. They're just going to up the prospects, help them get better. The schedule will start the season off. They're going to start on the road against Dallas. And they had a 3-game homestand against the Seattle Kraken, Arizona Coyotes, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. And they got to end the month off a Western Canadian road trip with the Jets, Flames, and Canucks. That's a tough schedule to start the year off. Dallas, Seattle, Pittsburgh, Calgary, and even Winnipeg's tough. I don't know about Vancouver. Vancouver's a weird team this year. So that's St. Louis. I think they're going to finish second to last in the division. And the Jets, Winnipeg. It's named Adam Lowry, their captain. Winnipeg is an interesting team. Lost their captain in the offseason this year. Guys to talk about for Forts: Morgan Barron, Kyle Connor, Nikolai Ehlers, Dylan Gustafson, Outside Follow, Rasmus Kapuria, Brad Lomberg. Hope he starts this year for the Jets. Adam Lowry, their captain. Vladislav Nestorov, Nino Niederreiter, Cole Perfetti, Mark Scheifele, Gabe Velarde. Scheifele is their best player. If not Scheifele, it's Nikolai Ehlers or Kyle Connor. This year, Scheifele had 68 points, 42 goals. Good season of Scheifele. If it's not Scheifele that's the best player, it's Kyle Connor for Fords. Kyle Connor, 82 games played, 80 points with 31 goals. That's pretty good for Kyle Connor. Ehlers is pretty good too. I like Nikolai Ehlers. This is a Jets team that can do interesting stuff with what they have. Definitely a guy to look out for this season. Where is he? Where did he go? Brad Lomberg, if he plays there. Or is Cole Perfetti. Their defense is taking hits. But they still got Dylan DeMello, Brandon Dillon, Dmitry Kuzin, Samuel Ludmark, Josh Morrissey's their top defenseman. Nate Schmidt, Dylan Sandberg, Logan Stanley. Josh Morrissey had 76 points last year and finished top 4 in Norris Trophy voting. Yeah, Logan Stanley's insane. Dude's like massive on the ice. Goaltending, they have the best goalie one of the best goalies in the NHL this year, Connor Hellebuyck. It depends, though. He could get traded this year during the offseason. Or should I say, during the trade deadline, he could get traded. Started 64 games this year. He won 37, lost 25 with a 920 save percentage. I mean, he's one of the best goalies in the league. He's always in contention to win the Vezina Trophy for best goalie in the league. His backup. Oh my God, they got Lauren Boursois back from Vegas? I didn't know he's back. Okay, so Lauren Boursois is back from Vegas. He won the Stanley Cup with Vegas last year, or last season, but he's back in Winnipeg. Wow. I didn't know he's back in Winnipeg. Huh. I guess he's back. That's insane. He played pretty fine during the playoffs, but he did get injured. But it's interesting that he came back to Winnipeg because his backup probably would have been Colin Delia, which is that'd be an interesting backup. Colin Delia played for the Vancouver Canucks or Chicago. I think it was Vancouver he played for. Yeah, he played for Vancouver. Started 21 10, lost 6. And that's the Jets. The Jets have an interesting team. I mean, Connor Hellebuyck's going to steal a lot of games. Connor Hellebuyck. All right, your start of the year for Winnipeg. They go on the road to start the season against the Calgary Flames, and then they have a 3-game homestand after that against the Florida Panthers, LA Canes, Vegas Golden Knights. Head off to Edmonton to face the Oilers. Have a home game against the St. Louis Blues. Head out to Detroit to play the Red Wings. Head out to Montreal to play the Canadiens. And to end the month, they play the New York Rangers at home. Not a bad start to the year. There are a couple of hard ones like LA, Vegas, Edmonton, New York, but they have some easy ones. Montreal, St. Louis. This is Florida. I don't know about. Just Florida. They have some injured guys starting the year off. They're pretty impactful on their team, but Sergei Bobrovsky could steal some games, so who knows? So that's the Jets. I like Nashville. I don't know where to place Winnipeg because like Nashville, they have a hot goaltender that can steal games from teams. But unlike Nashville, they don't have a competent backup. Even though Lauren Boursois is a good backup, I just, oh man, I just don't know about Winnipeg because they even like if they trade Connor Hellebuyck, they're going to go pretty hard down in the division. I don't know. I think if I'm going to do a little division standings, but where I think they're going to be placed. Last place, dead last in the division, Chicago. I'm going to say St. Louis finishes 7th in this division out of 8 teams. That's wild to say, but I think they're going to finish 7th in the division. 6th is Arizona. 5. Ooh. I think 5 is Winnipeg. I think 5 is going to be the Jets. 4 is Nashville. Your top 3, Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas. Interesting for the Central Division for the team. So now we're going to do who I think will be the top point getter in this division. Top point getter in the division. I'm going to go Nathan MacKinnon for the Colorado Avalanche as the top point getter in the division. It's goal scorer of the division. It's either between 2 guys. I'm going to say it's going to be Jason Robertson or Mikko Rantanen. Defenseman of the division, Cale Makar. Goaltender of the division, UC Saros, as I think going to be the goaltender of the division this year. So that's the Central Division. Next time we're on this video, we're going to go over the Pacific Division. Hope you guys enjoyed this little outlook, and we'll see you next time.